Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, make fun of me for being colorblind? Too bad you can't afford your food. You know who I am? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Make fun of me for being colorblind? Too bad you can't afford your food. I worked at a grocery store for a bit. I was 17 at the time. Next in line was a woman who looked like she was in her mid-40s. So she has her kid with her and behind some me toys because it's the middle of December. Her kid points at the toy dragon behind and says she wants the green one. I gulped because there were different color ones in the same shape. The mom asks me to hand it to her. I say yes and try to pick out the right color but pick up a red one. The only reason I knew it was red because the nice man behind me pointed it out before she could. The mother started laughing and said, "What are you, a colorblind mutt or something?" I say, "Yes ma'am, I am colorblind." "Can you tell me which shelf has the green dragon for your daughter?" She starts laughing like a hyena. And as she's wheezing she pulls out her phone and says, "What color is my phone case? You are ____________. I just want this to be over." But then she says, "Do you want a treat, colorblind dog?" In a voice you would see someone with a dog using. I say, "Ma'am, would you like to scan your items now?" She does and her price is like $500. She looks at her phone and then at her daughter and says, "It's a good thing mommy saves coupons." She pulled out a total of 25 coupons and overall it would have brought the price down a good $200. But while she wasn't looking I scanned one of them and pretended to try to scan the others. I told her after a few attempts of trying only if her coupons were useful and made up some fake BS about how the other coupons were most likely invalid due to the lack of coupon production and these were expired. It's safe to say Xmas dinner might have been cancelled that year. Also, if she is reading this, the color of the phone case was red. I'm failing to see the correlation between being colorblind and retarded. That in itself would have had me asking her to simply leave the store as her patronage was not welcome. I'm sure the POS manager would side with the customer. Even though your recommended action is legally, morally, ethically justified. My husband is colorblind and left-handed, as are his two brothers. Nobody in my family is colorblind, so it took me a minute to figure out what is a struggle and what's not for him. On the plus side, the entire inside of my house is pink. I picked the color Benjamin Moore's First Light, but to him, it's white. His truck is green. He academically knows this. He can't see it like I see it, though. I still haven't figured out what color it looks like to him. The left-handedness is a far bigger problem. Watching him use power tools is terrifying. We have a constant, joking, argument about the color of our pink cloth napkins. My colorblind family members swear they are white. In high school biology we were shown the cards they used to test for color blindness, the ones with different colored spots and numbers. One of my classmates turned out to be colorblind and had never realized. He just thought the colors he saw were the way everyone saw them. It's amazing how perception changes everything. I have aphantasia, the inability to see pictures clearly in your mind, and didn't know that regular people could see images. I found out by chance last year, from someone else who described it. I'm almost 40. I thought the ones that could see like that were only those with photographic memory. My dad was colorblind. He used to tell about having to memorize which light on a traffic light was red and which was green so he could get his driver's license. Just a question, have you tried those glasses they have for that now? My son saved his money for a long time and bought them. He was a younger teen. I paid half because I was impressed with his drive. He could kind of see a difference, but nothing like the commercials. We've had a dozen or so other people try them on with similar results. In our observations, the older the person, the less dramatic the results. I used to work with someone who was colorblind. He only wore one color of pants, one of shirts, one of shoes, one of socks. His sister would help him shop. The one color thing was so that he never had to worry about matching anything together. Went to school with someone else who was red/green colorblind, but didn't know it until he went to enlist in the National Guard. Same reason I wore almost exclusively black. Only color people can't be an absolute jackass about. Though I've also just stopped humoring people when they ask. My eldest is red-green deficient. I have my suspicions that my youngest is colorblind as well. Yeah. All three of my kids, to varying degrees. They actually mask it surprisingly well, which means it took until my oldest was 10 to work out that he actually couldn't see the red balloon pieces lying in the green grass. But they use other cues somehow and guess, and are right enough of the time that most people don't realize. I took my youngest to an eye test, and the optometrist was dubious when I said my child was colorblind, and that turned to intense skepticism when my child correctly said the red one about something. She insisted on doing the color blindness test again, and I felt pretty vindicated when it showed that my child was actually colorblind. You know who I am? Long story. I am a collector of a specific type of vintage toy. I have a reputation as an expert on this particular type of item. And sometimes these items come up in auctions. I attended an auction and bid on one item, but every time was outbid by someone behind me. Eventually, I opted out and let the mystery buyer take it, at above market value, mind you. I was prepared to overpay because I really wanted this item. Turns out it was a known antique dealer, and his wife explained in a later conversation that Joe would watch me, knowing that I know the value and collectors such as me would generally want to pay less than market value, and just increase every time I placed a bid. Thus ensuring he always pay just under market value and still win the deal. So the gist is that if he is there, he would always outbid me and I would never win an auction. Also, not relevant, but the auctioneer and Joe are related. He is now sitting with the item he has no hope of selling at a profit, but that is not the revenge. A few months later another similar item came up, and I really wanted it. Knowing he was going to be there, I devised a plan. A friend of my son, who lived with us at the time and calls me Dad, played along and we agreed beforehand that I would pay up to $3,000 for the said item. I know Joe would end up paying $3,100 if I bid, so me and son's friend both registered for the auction. Item comes up and I bid up to $1,000. Then I stop stating out loud that I am out. At that point, Joe places one more bid. Auctioneer tries to get me to place one more bid, but I know how Joe plays the game and refuse. As the hammer is about to fall, son's friend places a bid and claims Dad's birthday is coming up and he wants to buy it as a gift. Joe decided it is already past the fair value and he lets it go. Hammer falls at $1,200 to son's friend. I immediately transfer the funds to him and he pays and collects the item. He then walks up to me and says, "Congrats on your birthday next week, Dad. Here's your gift." In a later conversation with Joe, he asked me why I stopped bidding and I confirmed that I wanted to keep sufficient funds to bid on another later item, and did not want to blow the budget. But that this item was easily worth 3 times what it was sold for. Should have seen the look on Joe's face when he realized I outsmarted him. Never had to go up against him in another auction again, but now if it happens I'll just get another friend to buy for me. ETA, it will not work on other crap because Joe knows I am an expert of the particular item. We are talking pedal cars and not in the USA. I don't agree this is collusion since any other bidder could still bid and win. It was only to mislead Joe. He knows I am the biggest collector locally and know models/manufacturers, age and scarcity. And to clarify, my son's friend stated his reasons beforehand while inspecting the car, and not during the auction itself. But walls have ears, and if I expressed an interest Joe would have seen me. Hence the ruse to throw him off the scent. Well done, but you also need to start bidding on absolute crap just to get Joe to buy it. You also need a friend with you every time you bid, in case Joe's there. It's gonna be weird though, Joe will never know at an auction if he's being set up or not. As the hammer is about to fall, son's friend places a bid and claims dad's birthday is coming up and he wants to buy it as a gift. I have been to many auctions, nobody says why they are bidding, they just bid. A kid who's never been to an auction and is nervous because he's doing something a bit dodgy might though. There is something in every story which might mean it's fake, but thinking that all the time would ruin the fun of reading it. I do assume, though, that even the true stories are exaggerated for entertainment. Hell, bid on something you don't want next time and let him buy it. There is a artist, A, that I collect. At the auctions local to me, where her works show up, there is another person who loves her work as well, K. We are earnest competitors, but love making a show of it. So we don't stomp and we don't go straight to our highest bid. The auctioneers love us because we are so energetic that following items go for higher prices. Win for us, win for the auction, win for the artists. One year A is there. She brought multiple pieces. Her presence brought out other collectors. Many didn't know about Kay and I, that we knew the exact value of every piece that it produced. We spent the entire auction bidding her work up to its value, then letting other folks have them. Kay and I had collaborated and knew which pieces we wanted. Still did our bidding war, then let the one who wanted a piece have it at its proper value. A always undervalued her art and we routinely paid at least twice A's value. I had been standing at the back of the room the entire time, in awe. She had never seen any of her pieces be fought over before, nor bid up the prices they went for. A spoke to me later on. I said hold on and called Kay to come join us. We explained all the above. Admitted that we worked the crowd and colluded for the pieces we really wanted. Neither of us had deep pockets, else we would have taken every piece she brought or driven the prices even higher. A responded that all that said, meeting us explained why this event was her highest grossing event every year, including events she attends. She thought this event was probably her highest grossing event ever, with us driving up all the prices of all her pieces. I dislike people like him. People like you are a pleasure to serve. Be careful all, if there are two of you working in concert regarding your bids, this can fall foul of auction law in many jurisdictions. Even if they aren't working in tandem with the current owner or the auction house? That's not correct to my knowledge. There is no North American legislation I'm aware of that prohibits anyone aside from the seller or an agent of the seller bidding on an auction lot. Heck, even the auction company itself can bid if the intention is to purchase, though that can get a little gray in terms of whether the auction is actually looking to purchase or just trying to drive the price up. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.